Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody, the four-wheel drive show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, along with my buddy Blaze Winter. To my left, 11-year NFL vet, black belt, and a great defensive tackle or end. I don't know, Billy, you're a defensive tackle at Syracuse. Would Blaze play right next to you? Or Timmy on the other side, and Blaze Winter. We want to recognize all four guys from the four-wheel drive.
Nice, Billy. Be nice to me now. Be nice to me now.
Billy, you guys had quite a crew, man. I remember '83, you guys beat Boston College and Doug Flutie. We played them the same year, lost to them. Does that mean Syracuse could have beat Alabama back then?
Hey, at that point in the year, hey, Billy, right? At that point in the year, the last 3 weeks, we were played as well as what? Anybody in the country. Yeah. So we beat Boston College and West Virginia back to back. We were on the verge of, you could have put Alabama in there, and we probably would have competed against almost anyone, right, Billy? I mean, we were playing red hot on defense. We were definitely the best D-line in the country. And boy, I'm telling you, we were red hot. That's why we were so upset over, oh man, just send us to a bowl game, man. We'll whip the ass. And we just fell out of it, man. We were one game too short.
Missed it by a game,
Yeah, you guys, boy, we're going to talk. I'd like to talk about that season and that win against Flutie and Boston College. But we're going to we'll save that. Yeah, we'll save like a memory. We'll do a show on like great memories of our college days. That'd be cool. All right, folks. This episode, Coaching the Details, brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. Go by and see any Sandy Sansing dealership in your area. We're going to talk about coaching details. We're going to split it up into 3 segments, okay? Now, in this segment, we take that in-depth look sometimes at what Coach Brian's philosophies were, not so much the X's and O's, because everybody knows it's about the Johnnies and the Joes, okay? And Coach Brian understood that football success is about coaching details. So this week we're going to tackle that subject. These are small bits of information, and doing the little things makes the big difference. In other words, if you don't take the time to cover details, you will eventually fail. There are so many physical movements and mental game scenarios that can arise at unpredictable times. This is why all sports practices should be scripted down to the minute. And we talked with Coach Mark D'Antonio yesterday, Blaze and I did, about this very subject, okay? After playing and coaching football for over 40 years, I have witnessed thousands of practices and observed hundreds of coaches. The coaches that waste time and have assistants that don't take the time to go into minute detail of their position will fail their players. The coaches that teach the details win, period. Let's find out how Coach Brian and why he believed in covering the fine details and not wasting any time in practice. The story of how Coach Brian observed hills in Africa while he was stationed on guard duty in World War II. He observed no ant watching another ant work. Every ant was doing something, working all the time. No ant stood by. Okay, that's why Coach Brian. He actually. I guess what they say about the military is 99% boredom and 1% chaos. So he was bored, and that's a bare fact. A bare fact that he adopted his style, just organizing by observing an anthill in Africa. Show me a man who cannot bother to do the little things, and I'll show you a man who cannot be trusted with the big things. Okay, quote, Matthew 25:21, you have been faithful and trustworthy over a little, I will put you in charge of much. Okay, now a lot of information in this comes from Dr. Michaela McCullough. He was one of Brian's players, physician, and a friend of Coach Brian. And he also authored The Long Shadow of Coach Paul Bear Bryant. And I suggest reading the book also by Phil Savage and Ray Glyer, and they explain the process Coach Saban is known for. Coach Saban goes into such minute detail that it would boggle your mind. Sometimes there's a risk of giving too much information and slowing down the athlete by paralysis by analysis. However, if you take the time with the athlete and proceed at a slow, steady, unwavering pace, he or she will absorb. Really, what did Coach D'Antonio tell us yesterday? That he was the DB coach for Saban for 40 years. And Saban ran all the meetings, and one time he did 7 drills in 7 minutes with his DBs.
Wow. No.
And they were efficient. They were efficient. There was no wasted time. And I bet you there were 7 critical points made from each of those encounters. I mean, wow. A master of his.
Think of the organization, the intensity of trying to do 7 drills in 7 minutes with 10 DBs, 10, 12 DBs.
That's incredible. You think about the great ones, you think about that 1 or 2% of the great coaches that have came through and the hours put in prior to all that going on. That's the biggest point here. I mean, these guys, and Blaze will attest to this, they're actually sleeping in their offices. I mean, what are you sleeping? 3-4 hours a night, and this is 12 months a year. I mean, Blaze, you could talk about.
Hey, when I was with O'Leary at UCF, Brett Keys, who now is currently the head coach of Georgia Tech, top 15 or so program in the country, would say, hey, Blaze, why do you go home? Just sleep there, man. Efficiency. Sleep there. You won't have to worry about the drive. And they would. Half the staff in that hallway would sleep, not just during preseason, but during the season in the office. It was about being on time. It was about being alert in the moment. It was about understanding what the master would expect, O'Leary.
Right.
O'Leary positioned himself on that corner office with a lot of windows for a reason. Every detail mattered. If the lights were on and the blinds were up, 4:30, there he was in his chair, and I'm driving in. There was a feeling of guilt. There was a feel, and he wanted staff to understand, hey, man, if I'm doing it and you're not, there's something wrong here. So it started with him, right, Billy? It starts with the master. The master doesn't say to me, one point, the master doesn't say to me in martial arts, you see it for yourself. You measure when you're in danger, and you know the right timing because it ain't my problem. He would demonstrate, see, measure, time. He would measure and see. He would do it in the right order at the right time. And it was all done with him being the leader.
Right. Absolutely. Billy?
Think of, Paulie, think about, I mean, I don't know, and I know Blaze remembers this. I mean, going back to Syracuse, and I remember, you're walking in the coach's wing, and Coach O'Leary's light is on at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, office light. And I mean, he's watching, you can hear the projector forward, backward. I mean, it's just nonstop. And again, I go back to, you take that 2 or 3% of these coaches that are legendary, and you can name them off maybe in a 12 coach sentence, but those guys are putting in hours of preparation before you see those 7 drills go on.
Right. Absolutely, Billy. Good point, both you guys. I want to touch on 3 of those points you guys just talked about. Number 1, the willingness preparation. People, the people are willing to do a lot of things, but some of them aren't willing to do the preparation, the work before. Matter of fact, I got a text from Coach D'Antonio. He said, I appreciate the preparation. Holy cow, that struck me like, wow. Okay. Number 2, the right order at the right time. We're going to talk about that next, right after this. And number 3, early work schedule. Those guys were so. I mean, I can remember a story about Coach Bryant traveling to Texas. Okay, and he was adapting, right? He didn't want to die. His offense wasn't working. He wanted to do the wishbone. So he went down to Texas to learn from Darrell Royal and the king, Emery Ballard. Okay, Coach Emery Ballard was the king of the wishbone. And so he went down there and he got in the office about 6 o'clock and nobody was there. And he's waiting around for those guys, in Texas. And finally they stroll in about 6:37. Coach Ryan says to him, "What the hell are you guys doing? Don't you take football serious here in Texas?"
Yeah.
I mean, so those 3 points. All right. Since you said right order, right time. Oh, my dog's going crazy. All right. Let's see. Explanation. Okay. Now you have to, during these detailed sessions of practice, a coach and a teacher are almost the same thing. They're not that much different. Okay. Teaching protocol. Number 1, explanation. Explain in a clear manner because communication, as you guys know, is imperative. Number 2, and you have to do these in order. Demonstration. You must physically show them the drill or the technique. The teacher, they write it on the board. They show you how to do it, right? Coaches should do the same thing. Number 3, participation. They attempt the exercise. 4, correction. Tell them the good part that they did, then correct the bad part in it. Number 5, repetition. They got to practice it over and over, okay? Practice the drill. Not until you get the drill right, until you can't get it wrong. That's what a lot of coaches screw up. There's a difference between those two, okay? So, and then muscle memory comes in. That's what repetition is about. So if a coach and teacher leaves out the demonstration part, which, like I said, some coaches do, the learning's not as effective because some people are audio learners and some people are visual learners. Guys, your comments.
Go ahead, Billy, you start.
I could tell you this. I mean, I and Blaze will attest to this. I mean, and I've covered this before. We would spend at Syracuse is where I think you can. Blaze will probably say the same thing. That learned the most that we could learn about defensive line play. I mean, going into the NFL, you had the greatest base of what you were going to do because of, and I go back to our base defense. We prided ourselves on repetition playing base defense. We didn't stunt. We didn't do a lot of different things. We played that base defense so well because of the hours of repetition and discipline of those short steps, those reaction times, and that's what separated our defensive line with any other line in the country. I think, and again, if we all coached at some point, Blaze, if you don't agree with this, tell me. But if you can play successful base defense, you don't need to throw out. You can throw out all the rest of it. So that's what Coach O'Leary was a master of. It was that monotonous repetition over and over again of things that should be taught to players in Pop Warner and modified. That is the base of football.
Blaze, I get this a lot from, and I experience the same thing, and I want to ask you guys if you have too. When I was at Alabama, I got so well prepared. My college coach was better than my pro coaches. When I got to the pros, I didn't learn much, and I was ready to roll. I was just ready to go out there and play. Did you guys experience that? And then I hear a lot of ex-Alabama players saying, "Wow, man, I was so prepared. I was so prepared at Alabama for the pros." I think that's what George O'Leary did for you guys, prepared you for the pros.
Well, when I was at Ohio State, Michigan State, smaller colleges like Northern Iowa with Bryce Pop, when I was with George O'Leary at UCF, it all started in the staff meeting. It all started with show me. And you would go up on the board and articulate what you're planning to do with your individual work, with your inside run, what your emphasis was, what were your fundamentals. I mean, the detail was mind-blowing. mind blowing. But the master knew it all. George Larry at UCF was the master. He knew it all. And he knew when you were cheating, or he knew when you were shortcutting it. And he'd be the first one coming down to your end of the field saying, no, we're not doing that. Fundamentals. We went over in the staff room. Hey, power comes from where? Ground. Your footwork has to be appropriate. If your footwork doesn't work, you won't work. Your eyes have to be right. Your footwork, your eyes have to be right. Your hands placement. Why are you looking at the backfield? Why are your hands not placed right? Because you're not looking at who you're hitting. I mean, it was so clear that the staff room was the starting place of a successful team.
Right.
The staff room led by the master knowing D-line, O-line, running
every
back.
position, yeah.
Unbelievable. And if there was a honest, hey, can we do it this way? You better prove it to me.
Right.
And it was always that. I'll let you do it, but you prove it to me.
Yeah.
Why should I let you do that? And it was very difficult for me. I came from a martial arts background. I came from Dr. Cunningham. I came from Greg Blash. I came from amazing, coaches like Bobby Ross. It wasn't that any of them were wrong, but the master had his own way. Just like if you're in a martial arts discipline, it's not compromised. And Panicos told me, remember Jim Panicos, Billy? Panicos told me day one, he won't let you compromise and bring in what Gunther Cunningham was doing, what Greg Blash was doing, what Bill Armsparger was doing. No, you're not doing what they do. You're doing what he's asked you to do. And if you do it his way and everyone's the same way, those players will never be left confused. They will always know who you serve. And that was so important to the dynamics of success, is knowing who you serve and how he wants to be served.
Well, he was interested in the details that coaches were interested in, so he made them accountable. Larry made them accountable. All right, let's tackle this last.
But most great ones, right, Billy, like Saban, D'Antonio, Tressel, whoever's the great ones did. They made you accountable, and then they made you hold your players accountable in that order.
Right.
It wasn't players are what in charge. You make sure you facilitate what they want, and then come to me with what they need. No, man. That ship will fly. The NFL represents a lot of that. The player is in charge. The player has the power over the coach. The coach might say that's not true, but it is true. In the NFL, the player is in charge. Mahomes could tell Andy Reid, I want this now, and he would have to do it. He would have to.
Well,
his ownership believes in what? The player.
Right, it's different. Yeah, the pros have been like that for a while. It's different. It's very different. Yeah. Okay. Let me take this last point because this is interesting to me, man. I'll never forget this detail. Coach Brian felt like obligated to tell us. Okay, in the book Chasing the Bear, author Lars Anderson captures how practices are run in Alabama with Saban. Quote: the way Alabama practiced is a huge part of his success, said Curt Cignetti, who is now the Indiana head coach. He was a wide receivers coach at Alabama in 2007 through 2010. He said, no one stands around. There's a lot of putting guys in game situations. It's all business. People are constantly on the move. He said, I worked for Johnny Majors for 4 years at Pittsburgh, and he came to watch a practice at Bama. Afterward, he grabbed me, and he said, Coach, that's the most impressive practice I have ever seen, unquote. Now, this is exactly the kind of practices Coach Brian conducted. The goal was always to make practices harder than the game by instilling that high intensity, high tempo, and detailed practices, okay? Now, this is how detailed Coach Bryant was. He was a gracious winner and loser, but Coach Bryant hated to lose. And as a matter of fact, he would often warn us, the players, about the awful details of losing and facing your relatives afterward. I remember him talking about the difference in winning and losing. Listen to his description noted in Dr. Michaela's book, The Victory in the Game of Life. Quote, after a loss, boy, you make your way back to the locker room to the bus. First, the crowd will be smaller than if you won. Your parents and girlfriend may be out there. Your mama will hug you and say, I still love you. Your father will grasp your hand and say, that's okay, son. We'll get him next time. But pay close attention to the difference in the quality of hugs and handshakes. Listen carefully for sincerity and pride in their voices. Your girlfriend would kiss you lightly, maybe, but there'll be no passion in the embrace. She may hold your hand while you walk with her, then again, she may not. Your folks may take you out to dinner and buy you a steak, but it's not going to taste very good. The people you ordinarily go out of their way to say hello will find reasons to avoid you, unquote.
So
That had an impression on all because he went in detail on how your family's going to react to you in a loss.
I gotta say that before we go on with this point, I mean, Blaze can't really talk about the girlfriend part.
No, I went up to an empty box. Yeah, I went up to an empty box. There wasn't much there.
He was so focused.
I looked around for somebody to kiss me, but nobody did. Billy was always willing to, but he was my roommate, so I on the road.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'm not going near him. I'm not going near him.
I'm sure Timmy had a girlfriend.
I think most everybody had girlfriends that you'll be all right.
Right.
You'll be all right. And no, you're right, Billy. That wasn't part of my early journey.
Those are great points, and I remember coming out. You mean we all do? Everybody's experienced those hard games that we had a loss in, and you come out of there, and you come out of the tunnel, and here's your family, and you're looking at them, and you know that they're not going to greet you the same way, and it is a very different feeling. It's hard if and winning is everything. And all of us have been there. And we were all 21, 22 years old. And some of us didn't take winning graciously. And I remember some tough times. I mean, I'm not going to go into it now, but there was a lot of interaction between players before we came out of that tunnel, and there was some tough situations.
Yeah. I wasn't a gracious loser myself, evidenced by my sophomore year in high school after the West Jenny game handshake line. Go ahead, Blaze.
It's not just how you handle winning or what you do as a player with other players. It's a coach having the moment to say, this is as important as anything, having a moment to develop that young player and having him understand that losing's not good. I mean, some people, you lost the game, you still are smiling. And somebody needs to say, why are you smiling? And now we have a society that says, well, come on, man, get over it. I mean, it's just a football game. No. It is my livelihood, and it represents me. And representing me, I want to be a winner. And all of you should hear it again. It represents me. I want to be a winner. And when I have a player that I'm coaching that follows the details, that comes up short, but he says, well, I did it the way you wanted me to do it. And there's not a personal hardship over a loss. then you have to educate that player that it is not. And O'Leary was a master at educating to Billy, Blaze, Jamie, Timmy. We lost. We lost up front. I mean, we lost. Well, I played well. No, man. Billy, you may have played well, but you understand one thing. This is a team game. If Billy plays well and you don't, what does it do to the rest of the team? You can't win with just Billy playing well or Jamie playing badly and Tim playing well. And it was a time for a coach to say not only to a player, a head man to say to player and coach, you better come across as in pain because losing sucks. It should drain the living life out of you. And a lot of people don't understand that, right, Billy, on the outside? There's
different levels. Yeah, there's different levels of people's heart in it. That's for sure.
Adabo in that press conference afterward, he was in agony. He knows he's about done if he doesn't turn that ship around at Clemson. He was in deep pain. And hopefully those 100 players in the locker room are also in horrible pain. And if they are not, and they're freshman or sophomore, someone has to point out, man, you won't go very far in this business if you don't win.
Right. All right, Billy, good stuff. We're going to try to go to Syracuse Miami game. We're working on it. We'll let you guys know in the future, man.
I'm going to try too.
Yeah, we're going to try. Hey, it's a great show, man. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Take care.
You too now. Glad you're home safe, Billy.
Yeah.
Well, you got it, baby.
Billy. See you, Blazer.
Bye.
Wow, good stuff. 4-wheel drive. Thanks for tuning in. Coaching details. Yeah, we talked a lot about coaching details and how the details make all the difference in the world. Brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. Stay tuned for these great messages. Without all my sponsors, this just wouldn't be possible. Have a great sports week, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Go to a high school game near you. Stay tuned for tomorrow night, local sports report. We will have Dr. Body of Escambia County High School and Coach Bennett on to talk about the contest that they're in. So stay tuned Thursday night. Have a great one, everybody. Talk to you soon. So long.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple painted brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
When it comes to buggies and golf carts, nobody does it like Buggy Works. Hi, I'm JP Wibbs. We've got the largest selection of golf carts on the Gulf Coast. We have a brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art service center and showroom to keep you rolling. We're right here in the heart of Car City at 5831 Pensacola Boulevard. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 3. Check us out at BuggyWorks.com. BuggyWorks. Come by and see why we're the #1 Denago dealer in the nation.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We sell fun for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
For 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352, 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at HillKellyDodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.